Before we begin, be sure to take just a second and share this live stream on whatever social media platform you're watching from. By doing this, we can see that you really care and we'll move your questions and comments to the top. All right, let's get this party started. We look forward to seeing you and your questions and comments on this live episode of the Ask Big Van Show. What's happening, everybody in the whole wide world? Welcome to another episode of the Ask Big Van Show. I'm your host, Big Van, and we are super excited that you're here with us today. With me, as always, is our social media producer, Mazani Speaks. What's up, Mazani?
Hi.
And we got Shay running the whole show in the background. Sage isn't here tonight. As you know, he's taking a little break. But thanks for tuning in. We're so excited that we can answer your questions tonight. Hopefully, we get some good ones out of you. Before we get started, if you don't mind, take just a second and share. Hit the little share button and share this whatever live stream or whatever platform you're watching this from, and we will be sure to get your questions answered if we can get to them tonight. Also, speaking of questions, if you would like to ask some while the show's going on, we would love it. We actually need some tonight because the pre-show post wasn't as populated as usual. So if you have any questions about anything in the whole entire world, just preface them with hashtag AskBigVan, and then we will get those answered for you as well as we go along. All right, cool. Well, Mazan, you want to get started with our first one?
Absolutely. Let's take it away. So this one right here comes from Joshua Derlauder, and he wants to know, why do people buy up all the milk during the storm?
That's a good question. Yeah, because nobody hardly even drinks more milk, do they, during the storm? Or I guess I don't drink any more milk than normal during the storm.
I'm not opening my fridge.
Your power is going to be out anyway, so the milk's going to go bad. Hey, Shay, push down on the back of the back handles of this camera right here, this camera too, because you can see it's cutting my head off there, the top of my. Look at my hair, it's like all that
perfectness.
There it goes. Oh, too much. There we go.
Oh, that looks good. You centered it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Go back up just a little bit.
Up?
Yeah, pick up on it just a fuzz. What do you guys think? Is that pretty good? Pretty good center there? Yeah, that's good. That's good right there, Shay. Okay. Perfect. Sorry, everybody. Little technical difficulties as we're getting started here. But yeah, Josh, good question about the milk. I don't know why everybody raised the milk. I would get water. I would get some things that you could get that were not, going to perish if the power goes out, right? Like some Cliff Bars, and some water flavorings, some powdered milk, believe it or not, if they even still make that. But those are the kind of things that would make more sense. I don't know why everybody kills it on the milk. What do you think, Mazani?
Cliff Bars are nasty. I'm sorry. I don't know. You know what I'm getting? I'm gonna get me a Big Mac sandwich as soon as it happens, so I can go ahead and be eating on that.
Yeah, that's gonna last you 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna get me some Vienna sausages, and then some canned goods, and then I'm gonna get the kerosene lamp oil, so I can go ahead and heat me up some beans. It's about to be a good night.
Yeah, you gotta get some beans.
Yeah,
get the generator going so you can play a DVD movie on the old DVD player.
You're right. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
that's
you got to do that, of course.
Yeah. What other food? What else do you need during a storm that we're not thinking of? Because we're just thinking food-based. I think you need other things.
Yeah, if you're watching the show, what do you think? What are some must-haves if the power is going to go out and maybe a hurricane is going to hit, which there might be a hurricane that hits. Probably not us this far inland, in the Charlotte area. But definitely on the coast of the East Coast, lower East Coast, maybe even still Florida, but they're saying most likely Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina are probably going to get hit. So you guys, if you're there, take advice and get out of there because it's going to flood. It almost definitely will flood stuff. So, but let us know in the comments. I'm looking at my beer here. I got a good, delicious porter, but I got a cool Star Wars beer glass there. So,
okay. Thanks, Jennifer. She said, that's funny that she said that because she was like, Jennifer Perdome, she said beer, cards, and family.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's all you need.
All right, let's do one more technical difficulty, Shay. If you will, pull up that camera for Mazani on the controls that I just showed you a minute ago. And when you do, pull it while I can see it, if you don't mind, because that way I can make sure to communicate. But throw it up where everybody can see Mazani's camera.
It's taking some time.
It's thinking. Oh, there she is. So hit the plus button one time if you don't mind. Hey, let us know what you think about Mazzani posing for our. You see what I'm talking about?
Oh, that hurt.
I did.
They're too hard.
Oh, did it zoom in any?
Not really.
Yeah, okay, never mind then.
Oh, my face looks darker.
You still look good.
Yeah, you look great. All right, anyway, so we'll carry on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, everybody. I'm such a perfectionist on all this stuff. I'm fussing about this little bitty stuff. All right, Mazzani, what we got next?
All right. So, oops, I hit remove. It's
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's okay. We'll say this one first. This one comes from Shakia Barnes. She wants to know, my sister and boyfriend have the same birthday. They both want me to spend the day with them. What do I do?
Which one's going to be with you in 5 or 10 years from now? Which one do you want to piss off the worst or the least? Right? Like, you have to decide which one are you going to, which one's more important to you. Because ultimately, whichever one you choose, the other one's going to feel like you picked somebody else, right? You just going to feel like that other person was more important, so you're probably going to upset somebody. So the thing is if you want to be with your boyfriend for longer, I'd probably go with him because the sister's always going to be around, right? she might get mad, but she'll get over it. Whereas if you ruin your relationship with your boyfriend and he leaves and you don't have a boyfriend anymore, does that make sense? That's my thoughts on it. Mazzani, what do you think? You think that you should piss off your boyfriend or your sister?
Neither. We're about to do a whole little
Team them up.
shindig. Yeah.
Do like a family get together.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but that's not quite as romantic or.
My
intimate.
thoughts are like, once you are with me, you are now my family. You should understand that this is my sister's birthday too. So I understand it's your birthday and it's your day, and we're gonna do something special for you. But first of all, I got to do something for her too. So let's go ahead and just make this a whole big thing. Yeah. And you're gonna have to get to like her anyway. We're gonna be together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, but if it was every year, I had to share my birthday with my woman's sister. Every year, I'd be that'd get old real fast. So that's not gonna be a long lasting solution. Does that make sense?
Maybe they should just pick a day. One of them's got to compromise, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know, I usually have my birthday shenanigans on the weekend anyway.
Oh, or you could do you could just mix it up. Some birthdays or some years you could split the days. In the morning you're gonna go do something with your sister and then have a romantic dinner with your boyfriend in the evening. But let's get to the real question, which is, how long is he going to be your boyfriend before he becomes your husband? Now that's what you really want to consider.
Here we go.
The awkwardness just settles in. I'm just kidding. We're not gonna cross that bridge tonight.
Actually, I'd love for you to cross it, and I hope that my man is looking.
Oh,
because it's been a long time.
If you like it, then you better put a ring on it, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know which hand it is, but
yeah, but hey, look for real, ladies out there in the world watching the Big Van Show, Ask Big Van Show. Let me tell you some truth right here. If you worried about how long you're in a relationship with a guy, it's most likely because he doesn't need to buy the cow. That's the reality. I'm sorry that's an awkward conversation, but in the old days, dudes would straight up marry you right away because they knew the honeymoon was the first glorious event. Does that make sense?
I'm done.
And I know that's awkward and it's also old fashioned, right? But I mean, seriously, some of you women out there are really getting frustrated that you're still in a relationship. Like Pam from The Office. Remember Pam and Jim? Like Pam dated Roy for like 3 years or whatever, remember? It's like, I
just realized something.
What?
What are you saying?
I'm not talking about you in particular at all.
Okay.
No, I'm just talking about like in general. It's like, think about the practicality of it, right? Most of the time, people are living together and all of that stuff, and it's like they're married. It's like they're married, right? And so then you come along and you're like, hey, I want to get married, and all he hears or she hears, if there's not a mutual agreement about it, is now we have to legalize and get legal doctrine and get a document, a contract that says that we're forced to do this, that we're doing right now for free. There's no real motivation to change up the situation. But you cut him off or cut her off, and things change real fast, and that is the truth, both ways. You cut them off, and everything changes. Either one, you guys are going to split because one of you can't live like that, or 2, you're gonna fix it. The problem's gonna get fixed, and you're gonna get married. So that's advice from Big Van on marriage stuff. Masani's like, no, I don't want that much advice.
All right, can we go to the next question?
Yeah, I guess we can.
Please. Okay, this one comes from Amy Pope. She wants to know, what's your biggest fear? Minus this conversation.
Yeah, that's funny. My biggest fear, I would probably say, I don't know why, and it's kind of a silly fear, but I would probably say losing stuff, like, and not that even stuff's that important, but we work hard for stuff. So, like if something was stolen, or if the IRS or somebody came and took something. Years ago, a long time ago, my dad had a business that tanked, and he had actually tied the family house, to the business, and so he got all mixed up in the whole IRS thing, and so. I just watched a lot. I'd say that's probably one of my biggest fears, is being afraid of losing stuff, that we worked for. When the truth is, it's superficial, right? Isn't it? It's like a lot of people lose stuff and they move on and they carry on with their life, So I'd probably say that's probably my biggest fear. What about Shay? What about you back there? You want to share what your biggest fear is, or a big fear?
My biggest fear, I know it's going to happen eventually, but losing my mama. She is my best friend.
Yeah, that's a big fear.
That's a fair. It breaks my heart to think about it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And she watches this show too. I know.
She does.
That is so sweet.
I feel so bad. That was not my first thought.
I don't know that that's. I mean, I love my mom. Like, she knows it. But I don't know that that's my biggest fear. You know what I mean? I'm not at all down on people whose fear that is, right? At all. But for me, I don't know. I'm not as weird about that, about death, For the people that I know personally, I don't know. It's just weird. It's not really been one of my things. So
I definitely don't fear death. My biggest fear is to live my whole life with fear. Just to be afraid of everything and afraid to do things and afraid to be me and say what I want to say and do what I want to do. And then when I do die, I die with regrets because I didn't live my life to the fullest.
Yeah. That's a lot of people's fear. What's that? What's the big movement? FOMO, fear of missing out. It's like a lot of.
Oh, no, I don't care about none of that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's like a lot of but that's stimulated by what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like something's happening that's fun and I'm missing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, for whatever reason I can't get there. I'm afraid or whatever. So yeah, that's good. That's a good question. Thank you very much for that question. Okay. Was that who asked that question again?
Amy Poe.
Yeah, she's a sharer. Thanks.
Yes. Thanks,
Amy, for sharing the show. You're a blessing to everybody on the crew here. We're very thankful for you.
Oh, right. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you one right now before we switch to the next one. Letitia Speaks says, my biggest fear is the dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Yep, that's true.
Yeah. So our next question, I'm actually, since she's posting and she's being active, and also please, guys, go ahead and take a moment of during this show and share it with your friends so they can go ahead and enjoy us like you are.
Nice.
Yeah. So here, since she's posting pretty regularly, I'll go ahead and ask her question. It says, Letitia Speaks, what are y'all favorite hobbies?
Yeah. Y'all's a plural word.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's no, okay. Yeah.
Look how much smaller you look than I do. I look like a freaking giant, and you're like, we need to zoom in on your head.
I do look tiny. I like it. It's the first time in a while.
Yeah, it's driving me crazy. I'm like, because like my head is like my head and shoulders are super big and fill the whole frame. It looks like one of those reporters on Fox News or something.
You do, yeah, you really do. And I look laid
yours
back.
Is like like you're just chilling on the couch, But maybe I'll fix that here in a minute.
Okay.
All right, what are your favorite hobbies? I'm gonna have to say, believe it or not, Mazzani, my favorite hobby is getting a big old bowl of popcorn and sometimes a beer, but sometimes just water, and watching The Office.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you asked what my favorite hobby was. I just love that show. I just pop down and I watch 2 or 3, 4 episodes all the time. It's just my favorite thing to do. I also like playing cornhole. That's a newfound thing. Surprisingly, I've only found playing cornhole like in the last 6 months. Like before that, I never played it. And like in the last 6 months, I like all of a sudden, like, where has this game been my whole life? I love this game. You know, I don't know. It's just something I found recently. Those are some hobbies I like.
Okay.
I like doing this. I like doing video stuff like this show. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like doing this stuff like this show. You know, that's a hobby. I enjoy that. A lot of things. I like playing. I like watching movies with my son Uriah. That's fun. That's what he lays. Like I'll sit on my lazy boy and he'll just lay down. He's still small enough to lay with me there on the lazy boy. He loves that. Or we watch that TV show Psych. We watch that a lot. And then my other girls that live at home that fit on the couch with me or on the lazy boy, you know, they're not fully grown yet. They like to plop down. Now some of them are getting quite big. They're almost too big for my chair, but. But yeah, I mean, I like spending time with my wife too. So, a lot of cool things I like to do.
Well, before I tell you what I like to do, I just want to pop this on the screen here. Jennifer Porter wants to know, can we go a show without mentioning The Office?
Oh, you must not like The Office. People who love The Office can't get enough talking about it. If you love The Office, let me know if I talk about The Office too much. But if you don't like The Office, then just don't let me know. Because that would break my heart if you didn't like The Office.
Okay, so my favorite hobbies are probably like I like to read and I like to write and listen to music. It be in my own headspace, like be left alone. That's my favorite hobby. Leave me alone.
Just like sitting there reading?
Yeah, minding my business.
Just chilling.
Yes, my favorite hobby is minding my business.
Yeah. Do you do that a lot? Mind your own business?
Mm-hmm. Sure do. You don't see me in drama.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I like to hear about it, but I like to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
I eat it up. I listen all day. It's like a good read.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those are my favorite hobbies. And spend time with my baby. It's pretty much it.
Who's your baby? You got a baby?
Not a baby.
No, just kidding.
No, like my man. I like spending time with my man.
You badmouth him enough on this show.
Yeah, I say stuff like that because it keeps our relationship fresh.
Something to fight about when you get back.
Yeah, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. He's probably mad at me now.
Why?
Because I'm all that getting the milk for free stuff. He's probably like, man, you messing up my game. I'm getting the milk for free.
Please, no. That's not even what is happening. Okay, I just want to let everybody know.
No, we don't need to know about all that. I'm just
that I have listened to your words.
Okay.
And you are correct.
There you go.
When there's a drought, you start getting what you want.
Yep. That is good advice.
Yes, look, girls, keep it. It's a drought.
Listen to Big Van.
Listen to Big Van.
Steer you straight.
You actually do. You know what you're talking about. You do. All right. Okay, so we're going to go to the next question. Unless you want to hear Shay's. What are your hobbies?
Yeah, let's listen to Shay. Hey, leave the camera on Mazzani for just a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to fix that. I'm going to fix that one.
As of right now, my favorite hobby is to decorate the house when seasons change. I love that.
Oh.
But we recently have some puppies, so I feel like they're going to be my new hobby. Making sure they're okay and training them and spoiling them because I don't have kids.
You're such a mom.
Pit bulls. 6 of them.
Oh.
2 boys, 4 girls.
Jesus.
I know.
I like how it zoomed in when I said that. Jesus.
Help us.
6 puppies. You can't have no kids. You got children already.
Yeah, well, I don't plan on having kids till about 3-4 years.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you going to be?
Yeah, how will you be in 3 and 4 years?
Oh, well, I'll be 26 in October.
So you be about 30.
Yeah.
You be about 50 when they're in their 20s.
First.
Let us know if you think it's too old to have kids that late. Who's had kids that late in life?
I know a couple people who have, and they're pretty okay, but I don't know. I just feel like you need to have more energy. I think you should have them at least in your late 20s.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
know the two bad
our oldest Sage is 26, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And one of his best friends, this guy that my parents' best friends, and his parents' best friends are best friends, but they were. I guess what I'm saying is when we had Sage, I was like 19 or so, but Michael's parents were 40, 42, something like that. Yeah. So
Jeez.
you can have babies well into your years. I just think that, I don't know, there's advantages both ways. Like I know some people who never had kids until their early 30s or even mid 30s. And then the whole rest, they did like more individual things and kind of had the freedom to go. Like I have some good friends of ours that have been married for a long time, like 10 years, and just decided they weren't going to have kids until they were like in their mid 30s, because they wanted to go hiking all the time and stuff like that. So,
But they're fit though.
it's because they go hiking all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like, whenever the Lord decides to put him in my life, I hope he has my body together.
Hey, look how much better your head looks now. It fits. See, if it fits, it ships.
Okay, we need to go to the next question.
Let us know how much better you think Mazzani looks now that she's not laid down on a couch somewhere.
Chilling. They like me chilling like a villain.
Hey, do
Okay.
we have anybody sharing the show yet? I want to call them out.
Actually, no, we're the only ones so far. So please take a moment.
Oh, come on.
Come on, guys.
Just hit the share button if you're watching.
You know you wanna?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You'll feel so much better about your life.
That's our infomercial and cut.
Yeah.
So this question comes from Sage Estes.
Okay.
He wants to know
What's it say?
what's the best way to tell someone they smell like the north end of a southbound mule.
Of a southbound.
Asking for a friend.
Oh, man. I just tell them. I'm like, I know it's rude, and I feel bad sometimes. I just did this yesterday
Sometimes.
to a guy that was at our house, and I went up and apologized to him afterwards. But sometimes I'm just straightforward, It's like peeling off a Band-Aid. Let's get it out of the way first, And I went up to him and apologized afterwards. But like I walked in the room and he was sitting on the couch. I had seen him before, and he was stinky. So I mean, he was working and out in my yard helping out. He was helping us out. I really appreciate it, by the way, if you're watching. But he was all stinky and sweaty from working out. And then I went and did something. I came back in and he was sitting on our good furniture. And I was like, "Hey, get your stink ass up off that couch." and he was like, "Oh, sorry, you have to, And I chewed out this other guy that was there that let him sit on the furniture. He's more regular around here. I was like, "What are you doing?" Let him sit. Anyways, I just did it. It's like boom, there, and then it's out in the air, and they know exactly how you feel. But sometimes you can't do that. Like little old ladies at church and stuff. You can't be like,
I hope there ain't no little stinking old
"Move your
ladies.
snake ass out of the way, Grandma." You can't really do that. I wouldn't think that was appropriate.
I've never met a stanky old lady.
That's true.
I have.
Like at
Working at Walmart.
Yeah, I was gonna say at grocery stores for whatever reason, some little elderly ladies just decide they want to spray some stank spray on them and then go into public. That's probably not true. They probably stink all the time, but it's not many. Most little old ladies are very clean and keep themselves smelling very rosy and fresh. But you definitely have your few out there that lost their sense of smell a long time ago. It's not just little old ladies too. Like sometimes regular, middle class Americans. And I'm not talking about stink like you went to work. Like Sage that asked that question. Sage will go to work and come home from work and he stinks. It's a working man stink. He's been sweating.
Bro.
He's been farting.
You just called him out like
Yeah, but it's straight up, right? Am I lying? He's out in the sun. He's working. I did that for many years. And you just stink. You've been working all day. You're sweaty and stinky. That's just part of life, right? That's different than the stench I'm talking about. Like some of that ain't showered for like weeks or months, and it may be that they have showered in the last week, but they've gone on this whole vegan lifestyle or something where you don't use any kind of underarm deodorant and all that crap like that, and you just stink like their body odor because they're detoxing their body and all kinds.
Vegans make their own deodorant.
Yeah, well, they don't use it, so there's that. I'm kidding.
Bro.
Not all vegans, of course. Not all. Listen, not all vegans are stinky people. You know. Actually, I don't even know why you said vegans in the first place, Ms. Ani, because vegans smell fine. It's
you said vegans.
See how I did that? Threw it back on you.
Yeah, I saw.
No, I'm sorry for all my vegan friends.
Bro, but listen, why you throw him on the bus like that? I just want to say, I know when I'm stinking.
No, but for real, like most of the times when I go to these health food stores and they're like, they boast all these vegan products and stuff, so you've got to figure a lot of people that in there that are vegan, you know, like Whole Foods and junk like that, you know. A lot of those people are stank in there. You know, like they literally, like you walk around now and you're like, whoa, man. And they're like all this free and natural thing happening, you know? And it's like, no, it's just stinky, you know? Have you ever met people like that? Like flower child type stuff?
That stunk? No.
I don't have to
all my
worry
vegan
about.
friends smell good.
I don't have to worry about upsetting them because they don't watch TV and the internet anyway. So I'm kidding. I don't know.
You was coming for people.
Man, it's just gangster night tonight.
Yeah, yes.
They're all gonna blow us up. Be like, "Hey, I stink and I'm proud of it." You know, whatever.
Bro, I did have this one man in church. I'm not gonna say who, but he would just wear the same suit to church like this. Well, he had a couple different suits, but he never sent them to the dry cleaners, and he would just wear them hanging back up in his closet. And they smell like arms, bro. And he always wanted you to be, when I was a kid, you'd be right up in it, and you'd be like, bro.
Yeah, it's tough for me too. Like I got to make sure I don't stink because every time I hug somebody, their nose is like my armpit level. Yeah. You know, because like if you guys don't know why they call me Big Van, it's because like I'm really tall, you know, and I'm a big husky fella, you know. And so when I hug people, like their face is like right here in my armpit. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're getting all pits, you know. So I got to make sure they smell good, you know. Yeah, got some. If you want to know, come on over because I'll let you smell my pits. They smell good. So.
I work today, so I'll warn you beforehand.
So your pits are stinking.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, hug me down here,
yeah.
like. I got you.
Just
though.
high fives, you know, or fist bumps, you know.
Yeah, like at least I warn you. I think some people know they smell bad and they still be wanting to like be up on you.
We gotta like change society where you don't even hug people that you love. You just fist bump people you love, and people you don't love, you don't even touch them. You know what I mean? Like I love you enough to just fist bump you, but I don't love you.
No, if I don't like you, I want to hug you if I'm stinking.
Oh, I see. The reverse psychology plan.
Yeah, leave me
Cool.
alone. Okay, so our next question comes from Jennifer Pardum. Thank you so much for sharing.
Hey,
you're a sharer. Yeah,
and she's a valid watcher of the show.
Yes, she is.
A loyal fan. What did they call it last week? Family. She's a loyal family member.
Yeah,
I did not make that up. That was Kevin and Jeffrey made that up. Anyways, Jennifer, what you asking here? Let's see.
Okay, so she wants to know, on a more serious note, roofing and adjusters, a certain company has come out with an app that has an adjuster, allows me to inspect the roof and... I can't read that last
Do you
part.
have it in your...
No, when I try to like pop it up, it doesn't show me the whole thing.
Oh.
I record my inspections, but the rest of the question is, can you put that back on there for me, ma'am?
Is it in the feed on the live stream?
This is an old question.
Hey, by the way, Shay, did you share this on my personal page?
I did.
Oh, cool. Everybody that's coming over watching the Ask Big Van show from my personal Facebook page, I want to say hey because you guys are my friends and family. Love you guys.
You know what? I apologize about this, Jennifer. If you could just resend this same question for me, and I'll go ahead and put your next question up on the screen.
So is that one just disappeared or something?
It's it's cut off, and now it doesn't show me
in the feed in the live stream feed.
No, it's an old question.
Oh,
but
okay.
It used to be whenever I click on it, it would pull it up like this,
yeah.
but that one won't.
I got
you. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this one right here is also from Jennifer. She just wanted to say that she's smelled people different of many times. She goes into homes and encounters multiple cultures and that they don't believe in body care.
Yeah, she's an adjuster, and that's as an adjuster, you go into people's houses and get to experience all kinds of pleasantries and unpleasantries. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Jennifer. I think my mom used to tell me like after 3 days, you can't. What'd you say? Something about you can't smell yourself anymore. Like you're used to that smell, or whatever. You don't realize how bad you stink. You know.
Can't smell yourself.
Yeah, something like that. But you know, when you smell yourself, oh no, that's what she say. When you smell yourself, everybody else has been smelling you for 3 days. Something that I swear my mom used to say that to me. Maybe that was because I like never bathed when I was a kid or something. She was like, "Man, you stink," you know. So I don't know.
Just don't think kids have that in their mind.
Yeah, and it's like when they get to a certain age, like about 15 or 16. You can always tell when they get a love interest because they start bathing, fixing their hair. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it's like matted, you know, for months on end. You know, they haven't brushed their hair, they haven't, you know, bathed or anything. But all of a sudden they come in and their hair's all dappered over to the side, you know, and they're all fixed up, you know, smelling good. And be like, "What's up?" I mean, like, "What? You're early for school today." You know, there's a new love interest there at the
dapper. Okay, so our next question comes from another sharer.
Joshua is a big time sharer.
And also thank you, Jeffrey Turner, for sharing. I know I don't have a question from you, but I just want to show you some appreciation.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Yeah. So Joshua DeLauder wants to know, why is Bud Light so much better than any other beer?
Oh my gosh. That's the dumbest question I've ever heard. He's just trying to poke at me because he knows Bud Light is not the better beer. You know, it's a popular beer, though. You know what's popular? It's because of the commercials. The beer tastes like crap, but the commercials... Oh, I didn't mean that, Bud Light, because you might want to sponsor this show some days. Oh, yeah. I love Bud Light. It's probably my favorite beer that I've ever had. You know, no, I'm just kidding. Bud Light is like... remember those commercials, those Bud Light commercials back in the day? Do you remember those? Like, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, but Bud Light used to have some killer commercials. And they'd have like a dude walks into a bar and there's like flamethrowers. And he's like, "Give me a light." And the bartender turns around with a flamethrower and he's like, you know. And the guy's like, no, Bud Light. You know, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he pops the top. Because they used to have some great commercials like that, you know. As a matter of fact, this is a true story. You guys aren't going to believe this. But it sounds like one of my jokes, but it's a true story. When those commercials were big, I guess I was probably 15, 16 years old-ish. And we went to, this church I went to was having like a Christmas ceremony. So they had, you guys, churches you go to, do they have the candles with the little paper shields so the wax doesn't fall on your hands, you know? So the candles are like this long and it's got like little paper, and like everybody in the congregation lights the candle, you know, we all sing the Christmas songs or whatever, you know? Well, when this church we went to, and I was standing there next to my dad, and they passed all these candles out and lit them on fire, and like all the people in church are holding the candles, and before they started singing or anything, I looked at my dad and I was like, "No, Dad, Bud Light." It really happened. He thought that was funny. But I've always been funny like that, I guess.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
That was real smooth, though, honestly.
Yeah, it was. The comedic timing was on point with that one. Maybe I should have been a stand-up comedian. Probably could have given it a shot.
Yeah, go ahead. You can still go for it. It's never too late.
Now I'm a sit-down comedian because I'm telling jokes and I'm sitting down. That wasn't a joke, though. That was true.
I was gonna try to muster up a laugh, but I just couldn't.
You're laughing now, see?
Yeah, because it was so full of folly, man. I was in my mind.
That was such a crappy joke,
bro.
It wasn't a joke. Why you keep saying it was a joke? It's a true story. It literally happened.
I know you're a sit-down comedian. That is now one of our T-shirts. Buy them.
Oh, I'm a sit-down comedian. Yeah. That's a new T-shirt.
Yeah.
Nice. We gotta do that.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's one from, I'm still kind of laughing, from Kendall Estes. She wants to know, have you seen Creed 2?
Oh.
Thoughts, favorite scene?
No, I haven't. I want to see it, and I have planned on seeing it, but I just haven't pulled together the time for it, and I want to see it with the right people. But the ladies in our crew here this evening were talking about it before the show, and I had to scold them because they started dropping some spoiler alerts. And so, but no, I don't know yet. Let's bring that question back up. Who was that, Kendall?
Yep.
Kendall, ask us that question Ask next week. I'll try to watch that between now and next week, and then we can discuss it, because I know you ladies want to talk about it too. So
Yes.
if you haven't seen Creed 2, if you're watching this show and you have not seen Creed 2, we will be discussing it next week, hopefully. And so to prevent any spoiler warnings for you, go ahead and watch it sometime between now and next week so it doesn't ruin the show for you. There you go. There's your warning.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So our next question comes from Zachary Roberts.
Nope, this is not Zachary Roberts.
Zachary's pretty. Yeah.
Zachary, you've changed, my friend.
He wants to know, what do you think is the worst type of family from an outsider's perspective and from a family member's perspective?
Let's see. That's really weird because it shows that picture. The worst kind of family from an outsider's perspective. I would think ones that are always bickering and fighting. You see them in, like, at the store, at the grocery store, and they're just always snapping at each other, you know, hateful, and the mama's all angry and hateful and snapping, you know, put that down, you know, pick that up, do this, do that, I'm gonna put your ass, you know what I'm talking about, and just angry. Just all of them are mad and angry, and the kids are always getting in trouble. From an outsider's perspective, I think that's probably what I would think is a not good family.
What culture is those families?
I think you see those in every culture. It's usually, the truth is, if you get down to the nitty gritty, it's usually a mom that's just at her wit's end, you know, and she's you know, frustrated with the kids and frustrated with life, you know. But in my defense, as a viewer of that family, it looks to me like a lot of lazy parenting going on. Does that make sense? What I mean is, a lot of times the frustration comes because the discipline hasn't been put in place, both for the parent and for the child. Does that make sense? So, like, if a parent is disciplined in the way that they discipline their children, the children obey a lot better, and therefore the parent is as frazzled, you know. Does that make sense? Like, when your kids are going crazy and they're running all over the place, you know, if you get them controlled through discipline, you know, loving discipline, then they're not running all over the place like that, and you're not as stressed out, you know. But a lot of times parents don't do that, like we talked about a couple shows ago. Most of the time parents that are lazy parents just sit and plop down on the couch and yell and scream and count, you know. I'm going to count. That's one time, you know. You better get over here. 5, 4, 3, you know. It's like, instead of just getting up and go and deal with it immediately, you know, it's kind of, there's some laziness involved. And I think most of those parents I'm talking about know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm definitely, I know because I have been and am sometimes. So that's how I know.
I feel for those parents. I guess I see what you're saying, honestly. I'm not going to get you.
Oh, I'm not.
It's just
I feel for them too. Yeah.
I think that it comes with age, though. The younger parents, I always feel like when I see them out and their kids are acting out, I always kind of like, I'm sorry, you know, I let it go, I ignore it. But if it's an older parent, like, and they have older kids who aren't cutting up and they're just being like, letting that other kid just scream and stuff, I'm like, really? What's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
And they're letting the kids scream.
Yeah, and they're letting them do it. And I'm just thinking in my mind, like, you have years on this child, you know right from wrong. Because I could even say that with my mom, like, as she had more children, her style changed, and as she got older, she kind of like grew with us.
Yeah.
And I got to where, like, when I was at least like 12 or 13, I already knew, like, when you get out of this car, don't ask for nothing, don't look at nothing, don't touch nothing.
Yeah.
And if you do, we're going to go to the bathroom. We're going to take a little break, okay? Yeah. And you're going to hold onto the buggy while I grocery shop, and that's just what it's going to be, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's comes from good parenting, you know, because she's straightforward. Like, you knew what to expect. You weren't going to be running all crazy, grabbing stuff off the shelf, throwing them on the ground, you know, right? Because you knew you'd go to the bathroom, because you've probably been to the bathroom, you know?
Yeah. You would go, I don't have to pee.
People don't realize it, but disciplining your child is not a pleasant experience for you or the child, but it brings about obedience. That's why the Bible says it. You know, do not spare the rod or you spoil the child, meaning the child goes bad. You know, so, and I'm talking about spanking.
Oh no, spankings. Yeah. I wish I could get a spanking. Like,
honey, Come on.
What?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean it like that. Oh my gosh. No, that's not how I meant. I meant it like, I get whoopings. I don't know about no spanking. But we're gonna go to a new question.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah. Ooh.
Just shoveling it out.
Yeah.
Digging that hole.
This one comes from Kendall S. She wants to know, what are your thoughts on childhood obesity and its effects on the child's adult life?
Man, that's a tough one because there's a lot of fat kids out there, and several of them are mine. And it is tough. It is very tough for a parent to really structure their child's diet and menu. And especially have multiple children. Most of them to do a perfect job of feeding and raising your child, you should have a good, clean menu for each child. And each child has different nutrient needs. It's very tough. We got some kids that are skinny and some kids that are fat. And it's just, and not fat like big, huge, but they're not. They need to lose some weight for sure, because in order to be healthier. So. I'm not talking about you, Mazzani.
But I'm one of your kids and I am fat.
But I'm talking about my little kids right now. Like, you're one of my adult kids.
You did try, though. You did.
This show makes me sound like I've got like 40 kids or something.
You did, yeah. His adult kids.
Yeah.
I will say, whenever I was with you guys, I always felt like I was eating healthier than when I was at home. I hate to say that. Mom, don't get mad, but it's true.
We do try to eat healthier than we used to. Like, when Sage and Kendall were coming up, when they were the only two kids we had, at home, we ate freaking pizza and burgers and spaghetti and all kinds of stuff all the time, like every meal, and you come over and eat all the time. But then we got like, I read a health book back probably 2007, 2008 ish. It really was eye opening. And so we really started changing up a lot of what a lot of the main focus was we wanted to stay away from chemicals, because we started realizing how much effect that has on the body, causing cancers and all that stuff, and then we also wanted to stay away from, which still is partially the chemicals, but preservatives and junk like that. But yeah, we started eating healthier and feeding our kids healthier. But still, even in that, like, we eat all natural stuff. It doesn't have preservatives and whatnot. But our kids are still getting fatter, and it's like it's hard to raise kids that are not overweight. But I think the question was more specific to obesity, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't have any kids, adult or kids, that are obese, but it's tough psychologically just for any kind of being overweight, but especially being obese and being young. It's a really tough entry into the world to come out of that and be overweight. Because I've never been obese, but I've always been overweight, and meaning like not as slim as I'd like to be. And it's a constant thing in your mind. Like, every time you walk up to open a door, you think, do I look fat? Do I have fat rolls hanging out here or there or whatever, and you're adjusting your clothes, trying to look as slim as possible, Even as an adult, I have those thoughts, So when you're talking about somebody who's truly obese, what I mean by obese is just like really big. It's a very tough go, And so everybody who sees those people makes fat jokes and stuff. Don't do that. They have a really tough life, and they really do not need you picking on them and making more and more psychological issues for them. You need to pray for them, because it's tough to change. But hey, you know what? They can do it. I see Facebook stories all the time about people that were really big and started losing weight and just steadily lost weight, and over years, 2-3 years, lost hundreds of pounds. So it's very possible. But I would encourage you not to be. You got something to say about that?
I'm gonna wait. I can wait until you finish your thought.
Yeah, I would just encourage you to be loving to these people, and there's a lot of obese people in America today, and I would encourage you to be loving and not harsh. I know a lot of fighters. Fighters are in great shape, great condition. You guys are studs, and I've seen fighters go on social media and just rip fat people, just be like, you fat slobs, if I can do it, you can do it. And that's a bad attitude to take, because everybody's got their issues. Everybody has their own psychological motivations for why they do things, and it really takes a almost a miracle, right, from the Lord to change your mentality about how you approach food and why you eat and when you eat and what you eat and all that stuff, you know. So I encourage you to pray for people when you see them that are in need of some weight loss.
I agree with everything he says. Beautiful, but the really, when it comes to children and obesity, it's something psychological with them. I truly believe the reason why kids overeat and they're not going by what their parents say, because their parents are the ones who originally dictate what they intake, because it's what they bring in the house.
Yeah.
But a lot of children are getting smarter these days. They're able to eat at school, like from their friends, or they're able to get to, your drawer that you keep that with all your snacks in it that you're not supposed to have, and they get in it and they do become obese, but it's because they're eating their feelings. There's something going on with that child that you need to speak with them about and get down to the root of it, and that will change a lot. And I truly believe that, because I know I'm big. I eat because I ain't got nothing else to do. I eat when I'm bored, and it's a friend to me.
Yeah, I would say, not to be controversial or argumentative with you, Mazzani, maybe I agree with what you're saying at a certain age and up, but I think most children up until 11, 12 years old-ish are innately just are fully motivated by the lusts of their flesh. You know what I mean? Like if they're hungry, or if they're just gonna eat, they're just gonna go. And what I'm saying is, I don't think it's at earlier ages. I don't think it's as motivated by a psychological thing, as much as it is. They're just they're pigs. You know what I mean? They're just like hungry, and they're just like my daughter. If I have carrots and I have Twinkies in a bowl next to each other, like my middle daughter, she knows who I'm talking about. She's going to eat the Twinkies every time, right? So it's not that I don't think that she's has some kind of a psychological deficiency that's making her want those Twinkies over the carrots. Because at that age, I don't think she breaks that down yet, But I think when they get older, and it starts to affect their life, I think there is a lot of comfort foods that are sought after and all those things, because they're there for you. And a lot of that is because they've always been there for you. When you were growing up, you could find that temporary pleasure in eating the Twinkies or eating the cake or eating the cookies or the ice cream or whatever. And it gave you temporary pleasure, right? Because it's delicious and it's a fun event. And then you get older and your kid picks on you in school or a girl makes you mad at work or whatever, or boyfriend breaks up with you, whatever it is that's giving you emotional problems. And then you think, oh, I can find that temporary pleasure again, So you go back to that food. That's what comfort food is.
You know what? I agree with that. I'm glad you made that point. But that makes me think of the fact that these are children, and you are bringing that into the house. So when it comes down to it, it's the parents.
Absolutely,
it's their responsibility to make sure that their kids are healthy, and not just healthy physically, but emotionally, and make sure that they have that support. That's just really important, and it starts at a young age, and that's why I do agree with that completely, and I get that.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Is that I don't think it's so much a psychological issue for kids at that age as much as it is faulty parenting. And I also know kids who just like this one of my daughter's friends is. When she was real young, she just got some medical issues, and so the doctor started giving her these steroids to help her body to heal a certain way, and steroids just made everything she ate just stick to her, and she gained a bunch of weight and got overweight quickly, and grew too, and so in a few years she went from being, smaller to being a very large, not very, but a larger girl, and that wasn't really her fault. It wasn't really, but yeah, I think that's a one-off story. I think the majority of parents know that they should probably feed their kids better, and there's some parents who are doing a great job of that, and if that's you, I commend you. You're doing a great job. So. If it's not you, then pick it up. You can do it. Let's get some healthy kids out there. We're going to have Michelle Obama on the show next week, and she's going to talk about...
No, honey. Sorry. Them sweet potato fries was nasty. I just want you to know. I was dying. If I looked healthy now, you should have seen me back in school looking like that. Because them fries was nasty. Anyway.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Shay?
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about. Then when she started making us eat healthy.
I got you. Yeah. So she started putting out sweet potato fries instead of regular fries.
Yeah, we
used to
petitioned.
have like McDonald's fries at the
Yes.
hospital.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were
Lord.
amazing.
But like that pizza, are they still? I don't know. I haven't been in public schools in a while, but are they still serving the same rectangle shaped pizza that they've served for like the last 75
You don't
years?
even really get good pizza or nothing. Everything's like whole grain, super healthy, cardboardy stuff. That's why we have
What?
Grubhub and Postmates. That
my
right there.
gosh.
I'd rather order some Five Guys.
Do high schoolers order Grubhub to be delivered to their school?
Swear,
No
I
way.
deliver to the church a lot, especially like Christian schools. I
Holy
deliver to them all the time.
cow! High school kids be like, I ain't eating this crap. I'm getting me some food delivered from Jimmy John's. You know?
Swear, they really do. That's a lot of our income base.
Oh my gosh! Bunch of rich kids at the high school ordering Grubhub.
Or you just like get your parents to drop you off Subway or
Oh
something.
my gosh!
Swear,
Holy cow! I never even thought about that. That's brilliant.
it is. Okay. This next question, because Jennifer's just been so good about sharing and also about commenting, I just want to make sure I address this one
Okay.
for her. It's the one that we couldn't get up a
Cool.
minute ago.
Yeah, excellent.
She wants to know, so this app that I'm a pilot and has me recording roof inspections, there's a contractor on the other end that is there to tell me whether the roof is repairable or not. Do you think that is a good tool? Do you think that it takes away from my credibility as an adjuster?
No, I mean I don't think so. I think tools are, if it's helping you get the job done better. If there's an app and you can see the damage and you're still making your decision based on your experience as an adjuster, yeah, I don't know how much I would trust the contractor giving you a repairability. Anytime you have a contractor involved, I think that you run the risk of having a conflict of interest. You know, is that contractor going to get the job if it's repairable? I mean, if it's not repairable, is that, you know what I mean? So like, you have to always ask yourself, and I know probably a lot of contractors are more, honorable than that, but some contractors are not as honorable. And so you have to ask yourself, is this guy giving me an honest evaluation, or is he giving me, so it just goes without saying, but I'll say it, is he giving me a decision because he thinks he's going to get the job, right? So you have to always be aware. I'm not sure if I would appreciate having a contractor involved, unless he's not getting the job. If he's truly a third-party contractor and he knows there's no, the deal is, if you give us an evaluation on this job and you get paid for the evaluation, you don't get the job, right? There's no way you're getting this job no matter how you evaluate it one way or the other, and he's truly third-party or unbiased, then I think it'd be fine, because you can use his experience. But if there's any chance that he's going to get the job, I think that runs a risk of conflict of interest. So I think the app is fine, and I don't think it takes advantage of your experience. I don't think it belittles your experience as well, because it sounds like you're still doing the inspection. You running it through new technology, which is fine. Hope that answers the question. I don't know if that was exactly what you were asking, but I know you're a good adjuster because I know you, and so keep up the good work, and hopefully it's a good app and it helps your business out. So.
All right. Our next question here comes from Shakia Barnes. She wants to know, how do you get your hair to grow?
How do I get my hair to grow, or like in general?
I think in general. How do you get your hair to grow in general?
Mayonnaise.
Yes, there's so much protein in mayonnaise. You are so smart.
Everybody knows you put mayonnaise in a shower cap on, and you run around looking silly for about a week, and your hair's going to take off.
Bro, how do you know all this? Are you a guru?
No. I just am old, and I've been around seen a lot. Literally learned that because this kid I went to high school with, this black kid in high school, put mayonnaise on his hair and a hairnet and walked around school for like a week and a half like that. And it stunk after like 3 or 4 days. But man, when he took it all out and washed it, it was like a big old full. He had like this huge afro after that. It was like, he loved it, But I don't know if the trade-off was worth the. It's like, maybe stay at home for that week, and then like come back looking boss, But I don't know. But anyways, evidently it works pretty good. So if you want your hair to grow, throw some mayo.
Another T-shirt idea.
There you go. Mayo for the hay grow.
Did you have any? Were you about to say something, Shay?
I think hair mask, homemade. I use honey and bananas mashed up. Makes my hair smell
Makes
really
me
good.
hungry. But not like after it's been on your head. That's just gross.
No. You can use it as a face mask as well.
She just be
It
like,
makes it glow.
So the honey will help it grow, or the banana helps it grow.
I think it just gives it nutrients to make it look healthy.
Well, I've been learning too a lot about my beard, and I've been learning that like my beard. I don't know if you guys noticed, but from the time we started the show till now, it hasn't grown like much longer. So I was like, what the heck? Why isn't my beard going any longer? And so I had to do some research. And they talk about, like, when you wash your hair and your face and your beard and all that, this is the same applies for regular hair, is like you're washing out all those nutrients, right? The natural oils and all that stuff that's in your hair. And you wash it all out. And so if you don't replenish that with good, like for me, beard oils, then your hair just isn't healthy and it doesn't grow, And so I think that's what's happening, Shay, when you're talking about, like, honey and banana, all that stuff. You're just giving nutrients and minerals to your hair that it's not getting.
I do. I don't use a lot of shampoo because it's really not good for your hair.
Yeah, we can tell.
Shampoo's the bruh. Shampoo is the devil.
My hair
Sorry,
looks
we've been
flawless
gangster
all the time.
tonight. We've been gangster.
It's not we, just you.
I'm sorry. Shay is beautiful, by the way. She won't let us put us on. I guess she's a criminal or something. She won't let us put her on camera, but she's gorgeous. So.
Thank you.
But anyways, so I guess that's what's happening with mayonnaise too, is you're just getting all the fats and all those
oils.
the oils and the proteins in your hair. So it's probably, you probably wouldn't need mayonnaise, if you found like, hey, what if you tried a good beard oil on your hair? Maybe some of you fellas at home can try that, or maybe you already are. But anyways, that's what you ought to try. What was that question? Was it about how to get your hair to grow?
Yeah, how to get your hair to grow.
Clip your ends.
Oh yeah,
Your
because
dead ends.
it's gonna keep splitting.
I don't know. I didn't read that anywhere in the beard growth.
It worked for me because I had not my beard. I don't have a beard,
Bro.
But
Clip your mustache.
I cut my split ends and dead ends myself, and within I say 3 months later, you couldn't even tell I cut my hair, and it was thicker and curlier.
It's the
And
truth.
on top of that, I don't put heat in my hair at all.
Maybe I need to go to like one of those barbers that like does
the mask,
like a beard barber. You know what I mean? And could like trim it up and whatnot. So does that mean 2 minutes left in the show? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll do one more question. What?
Oh, I didn't realize it was that late. Okay, let's do a funny one.
Yeah, let's do one more question and then we'll get out of here.
Okay, this one's funny. This one comes from Kendall Essence. It says, "Why? So why do people pass gas and then excuse themselves?"
Oh my gosh! Oh man, that is a quandary. So they'd be like, "Brr," and then they'd be like, "Oh, excuse me." Well, I mean, you gotta say "excuse me" because it's like you're asking. It's a question. Like, "Excuse me," like, "Will you forgive me for blowing it up in here?" It's like, now you have to suck my butt gas,
Bro.
inhale it into your lungs, and your sustenance for the next several moments is going to be my fumes. You know what I mean? So you need to ask forgiveness for that. You need to say, "Excuse me. Can you please excuse me for that? I'm so
Or you
sorry."
can just apologize. I'm sorry. My best friend at work, me and her, we will go back and forth passing gas.
Yeah, it's like, how many?
I don't say excuse me. I'll say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and then that's when it hits her.
Yeah, it's like there's people in confined spaces. I do it sometimes, right? I guess I do it a lot, but because I'm a man and that's what we do. But my wife, I'm not making this up. I bet in 27, 8 years or whatever, however long we've been together, I promise you, I may have heard her fart once, maybe twice. Like I can't. I mean, like she does not fart, and if she does, she doesn't let anybody know about it. She's like Mrs. Prim and Proper. I'm telling you.
Swear.
I promise. I haven't. I can't even remember when I heard her fart, but I'm pretty sure I heard her fart once. But that's like it just doesn't happen. But me, I'll be I take pride in the volume or the sound, the power, the decibel levels, all that, all that has merit, for us men. So
Okay, so let me just ask you a question. Since there's a manly thing, who's got you beat when it comes to farts?
My son Uriah can absolutely blow up. It's amazing. He's this little skinny 12-year-old kid, but his farts sound like it's like something's wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like something's bad wrong with this kid, because he will like foghorn it, and you're like, whoa, how did that happen? For real.
There's nothing to trap it. His body.
Man, he's gonna be an awesome man when he's like 25. He's gonna walk in the room and drop some farts, and people are just gonna, totally show him respect. He's gonna earn it.
You get respect from that. When I fart, people are like, Febreze. Where's the Febreze?
Yeah, whatever.
This is true. You're like, oh.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys were able to join us tonight on this show as we talked about a lot of things, and some of them were aggressive. Mazzani was throwing down on vegans, and we had we had a lot of fun talking about a lot of things tonight, and we're really thankful that you watched this show and that you're one of our viewers and part of our family. And we look forward to next week. And also, if you're one of my children or grandchildren or generations after me, and you're coming in and you want to watch to see what I looked like when I was younger, this is it. This is how I looked. I'm amazing, and so maybe now I'm old in a wheelchair or whatever, and you're just like, coming to see your old great-grandfather. But back in the day, this is how I looked, and I was pretty vibrant. And so, but anyways, I love you, and I really hope that you'll have a great relationship with Jesus. He is my best friend, has been my whole life, and he's the reason you're here. So if you're not one of my kids or grandkids or generations after me, I'm super thankful that you watch this show. It is amazing for you to be a viewer, and we love you, and we thank you for watching, and we thank you for sharing, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of the Ask Big Van Show. God bless you all. Have a great week.
Okay.
Hey,